really need to come up here more often. Well, I want to say thank you to DEQ and the military department both for putting this event together today. As Steve mentioned, it's great to have leaders of state agencies that know where Northwest Oklahoma is for starters, and Steve did because his grandkids lived here for several years, and so he was driving back and forth up here to see his grandchildren. As he mentioned, his daughter pastored the Methodist churches at Tacoma and at Carmen, and his son-in-law was at Helena and now leads the prison ministry team for the United Methodist Conference, and so a family of service. And Steve is the right person. We have a lot of great leaders, people like Steve Thompson at DEQ and people like Gary Ridley at the Department of Transportation. I'm just trying to finish my time in the legislature before these guys retire because they are great leaders of their organizations. And Steve is one who leads an environmental regulatory agency in our state. But is someone who has a great deal of common sense, which you do not find, as I talk to colleagues around the country, in agencies like that all the time. That you have people that have a great deal of common sense and that want to work with, aren't just out to find communities and to punish communities, that want to work with communities to find solutions. And that's why it's a great privilege to have Steve leading DEQ in our state, and it's great to have him here with us today. He does a tremendous job. When we started down the path of trying to identify what would happen with this property, as they came to your legislators and asked for input, as the community came to us and made different cases, it seemed obvious that Northwestern and this armory were a great fit. The proximity to the campus, the needs moving forward with the move to NCAA, in terms of the indoor practice facilities and other uses, it made a lot of sense that this was the perfect timing, and that Northwestern had the resources to continue to breathe life into this building. That's the other thing that we looked at, and Steve and I talked about too, is making sure that as these armories are turned over to communities, that they are turned over to institutions that have the ability to continue to use them. I know the military department doesn't want to see these, that they've invested so many, not only dollars in, but hours and memories to just fall down and to not be occupied and not to be used. And so that's why Northwestern made a great deal of sense, because it will be a great partner. It will continue the life that has been part of this community and this armory. That's really, I think, the exciting thing, because that's not been the case with all the armories that we've turned over. We've turned over to a purpose such as this. So that makes this very, very special and very exciting. This is one of the newer facilities, quite frankly, that we have been able to turn over to another purpose in the state. A lot of our armories were built as WPA projects. After as we moved into the Cold War, the Korean War, those other conflicts, the national security needs were such that it was determined some new armories needed to be built. And I think there were 50 or 60 kind of similar to this that were built in Oklahoma as the national security needs changed, as we've moved forward and moved away from some of the WPA buildings like we did here in Alva, transitioned from that older facility into this one. And so it really is a great facility, and one that I think has great potential for the university and moving forward. There have been a lot of memories that have been made here, a lot of families from our area that have come here to say goodbye to loved ones that have left to serve our country, a lot of homecomings that have been held in this facility, and quite frankly, it's been really the focal point for people that have left, young men and women that have left our communities to literally change the world, to change the history of our world, people that have left here to make that type of difference that has impacted generations of people around the world, and even generations to come as that service continues. And so it really has been a very important part of our history in Alva. It's been an important part of our history in Oklahoma, but it's really an important part of world history and what's happened around the world as our country, and people from our part of the state have made a difference. And so we are sad that chapter has ended and that we've transitioned to a new facility in Enid, but we're very excited that we are transitioning this facility to continue to make a difference in future generations, future students, student leaders, student athletes, others that will be leaders in our community. And I think that's the most exciting thing about today, is that we're not ending this chapter of a building that has been so central in making a difference for future generations. That continues. It will continue in a different role, but it will continue, and that's the great part about this event and transitioning this armory for this purpose to higher education, is that it will continue to be involved in making a difference for future generations. So I want to say thank you to the military department and for their generosity and in making these facilities available to DEQ. I think about, $80,000 was spent just on this facility alone to remediate it, prepare it for use by the university. And thank you to the university for its leadership and willingness to take on this project. I know they're excited about it too. So a lot of people have come together to make today possible. And in large part, it's the taxpayers of Oklahoma that have made this facility possible in the first place and continue to make its use possible for future generations. So an exciting day, one that it's different. It won't have the same use that it's had, but the great news, which is not the case with all of our facilities, is that this facility will continue to impact future generations, and that's what makes today a very special day. Thank you all very much.
This facility is ready for reuse, and it says it is hereby acknowledged that this armory is ready for reuse by Northwestern Oklahoma State University for the enrichment of the community. It's signed by Major General Miles Deering, the Adjutant General of the Oklahoma National Guard, by myself, and by John Morrison, the Administrator of the Department of Central Services. So here you are, and thank you very much.
So much, and I'll have to check with some of my historians, a couple of whom are here today. I'm assuming that Colonel Wyatt was the same Wyatt that was connected with Northwestern Oklahoma State University and served not only the community of Alva, but Northwestern Oklahoma State very well. On behalf of the Northwestern Oklahoma State community and the regional university system of Oklahoma, it is with great pride that we accept this building from the state of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Army National Guard, and the Department of Environmental Quality. Today's transfer really is a textbook example of how state government works in an efficient and collaborative manner for the benefit of its citizens. So thank you very much. I want to acknowledge Senator Bryce Marlatt, who couldn't be here today, and Representative Jeff Hickman for their support in the transfer of this facility to Northwestern. Both of these legislators serve as strong advocates for Northwestern and higher education, and I want to publicly thank them for their continuing efforts at the Capitol. Keep up the good work. I also want to offer my thanks to Director Thompson and the staff at the Department of Environmental Quality for their work in bringing us to this day. The DEQ staff has been very responsive and cooperative throughout this entire process. So thank you so much. And I would like to recognize Mr. David Paikey. He is sometimes the one who gets the jobs that nobody else wants, of dealing with, construction and all the things bringing this building back to life. So, David, thank you so much for your work. Well, this building is now Northwestern Oklahoma State University's. It will always remain a tribute to the men and women who served faithfully and bravely as members of the Oklahoma Army National Guard. The history that we just heard was very interesting. Enjoyed hearing that very much. I think it is fitting that this facility is located on Thunderbird Road, a tribute to the original 45th Infantry Division, later the 45th Infantry Brigade, and the 45th Fires Brigade. Both Northwestern students and staff have served in this facility and have worn the iconic Thunderbird patch with pride and embraced the unit motto of always forward. Northwestern will use this facility in many ways, including the development of an indoor training facility for its athletic teams and other groups. So you will hear the laughter and the enthusiasm of a lot of young people. We'll use some space for university maintenance and other support departments. We are anxious to begin the development of this facility. Work will be starting here before too long. I thank each of you for your attendance today, and I ask Director Thompson to make closing remarks. Thank you.
Well, two closing remarks. First of all, thanks to everyone for their attendance today. It's a very good day for the department and for the state, and I believe for the university. And my final closing remark is, I see cookies. I've stayed away from them long now. Thank you all so much for coming.